what is most important to get out. And then I've got my contact information here. And like I said, I can email this presentation to you. You can come by and see me at the table. I can email the presentation out, and we've got email, my website, my Facebook page, and the website that we just launched for easyfoodstorage.net. So I've got a little extra time. Is there anything in particular that somebody may have a question about? Sorry, Richard. Yes. Yes, you can add water. Mm-hmm. No, when you've got extra holes in the pressure cooker or in the water bath canner, when you've got extra holes in there, you can add bottles of water in there, and that way it's purifying it for you. So that way you've got extra water that you can have in with your food preps. And oh, something else with the couponing I wanted to mention. In our area, one of the best newspapers is the Charlotte Observer. And most of the Mr. Pete's have those. They will, trying to remember, there's another spot that Greenville comes down, and I know there's Saluda in Polk County gets those. That's a really good resource for coupons. One of the things that I love about Southern Savers is you can go on there, you can click on stores. My favorite stores to go to are Harris Teeter and Bilo, and that's where I truly save about 75 to 90%. And you can click on that store. She's got the all the sales going for that week. There's listings for coupons that you can use. There's also printable coupons you can use. But these are things that you can add in, and you're just building your food storage. You're building your preps, and you're doing it very affordably. So, yes? I'm sorry? A flour? Okay. With the wheat berries, keep in mind, when they opened the Egyptian tombs, the pyramids, the things that still were good were the wheat berries and the honey. Honey is something else that's very good to have in there. It's good for flavor, it's good for nutrition, and it's good medicinally. Wheat berry, or the wheat berries, in its original form, will last forever until you grind it. Once you grind it, that's when the time or the clock starts ticking, and you're gonna lose that. I generally try to rotate mine out personally every few months, but the wheat berry itself will last forever until you grind it and start using it. Something else that I wanted to mention with the grinders, be careful what you're looking at. I always tend to look for anything with plastic parts I try to stay away from. Anything with too many moving parts. What will I need on backup? What will I need extra on hand in case this breaks? So look for the wheat grinders and whatnot that are metal, and don't have many things that you have to worry about needing extra of. So did that answer your question? Yes, sir. Again, I run my finger over the rim of it, and as long as I don't feel any cracks, one thing, I'll go to Smiley's, and people will have these things that they brought out from their grandma's basement or, you know, found in an outhouse somewhere. And as long as I don't see like lines where people have had paint in them, I'll get them, because generally we can get most stuff out by hand washing, by running them through the dishwasher, even taking some vinegar and putting it in there and letting it soak will get most stuff out. So the biggest thing I look for is cracks, and then just feeling around the lip of it and make sure that there's no cracks and whatnot, or chips. Yes?
You made mention of canning your produce and stuff like that, but you didn't make any mention of canning meat.
Oh, yes, you're right. The canning of meat, thank you. With one thing personally we do with the Zacon, we've done the chicken. And it's very easy. And the first time I even thought about doing this, I was afraid I was going to poison my family, but we survived. And we got 80 pounds of the Zacon chicken, and it worked out probably, I think we did about 50 quarts of it. And it's really very easy. You know, I know a lot of people will do recipes and add the seasonings and everything. Like I said, I'm domestically challenged. I'm just learning some of this stuff. So I just shoved the chicken in, I added the hot water, I canned it, and it's wonderful. So it's very easy to start trying these things, to start adapting, and then start networking. This is something else that I meant to mention, is share this information. Especially, you know, with food storage and whatnot, I'll talk to anybody. We'll be in the grocery store and people come up and ask me about my coupon book. This is all basic stuff that we do every day, but it's stuff that we should share as well. You know, when you're working with people, you're not giving them an inventory list of everything that you have in your house. You're just helping them build. And these are less people that you have to worry about knocking on your door. So take this information, share it, be a resource. We all have had help along the way to get to the points where we are. To me, it's kind of a responsibility to share as well and pass this information and knowledge on. So, yes?
Okay, we got this USDA food pyramid that's got grains on it, and my wife and I are not bakers. We don't bake any kind of bread or anything like that. Yet we've got a large amount of food and other preps put up. We're pretty well stored away, but I think to kid ourselves that we're going to go out and buy a bunch of wheat berries, and then when things go bad, start actually grinding and making bread. Maybe a little unrealistic, because it's not something we do.
It's not, but
I think it's a common thing with a lot of people. They don't make their own bread. So what do you recommend for grains in that kind of case?
well, I mean, like I said, I call myself domestically challenged, but I've been learning, and so I've started working with this stuff, and that's all personal opinion and what you want to do in your home. If you don't want to do the grinding and the baking, then you may not have bread. So, I mean, there are powders, there are mixes, there are things that you can get. I've got probably, I don't know, 300 or 400 of the Martha White muffin mixes that are in our food stores. That's all stuff that you can incorporate, and that's something that you can get just about free. As far as the long-term shelf life on it, I don't know. We've personally used the stuff that's 2-3 years out of date, and it's been fine. We're still here to talk about it. So that is an option that you can get some of those, but a lot of people do want to work with the fresh grains and whatnot. But there are boxes out there that you can work with to have in your food storage as well. But again, you'll have to have a resource for baking it. So be it a sun oven or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Boxed and packaged stuff like the Martha White, do you leave them in those packages, or do you take them out and put them in a jar to keep the life of them longer?
I've left them in the bag, and that's what I use the 3-gallon buckets for. And I can probably fit 40 of them. And I'll do a circle, I'll flip them upside down and do another layer, and you just shove them in there, and that's what those 3-gallon buckets are good for. Oh, Bilo has got the most amazing rectangular 5-gallon buckets, and that's great for barter items. With the couponing, I will never have to buy razors, shaving cream, deodorant, toothpaste, basically any health and beauty aid product again. I'll come home and Ken's like, you bought more deodorant? It was free, honey, I don't care. So there's those buckets that they have at Bilo are really wonderful. And they will store some pretty weird stuff that you can't in others.
Do you have a recommended place in a house or shed or garage or wherever where one would store the food?
The coolest and least humid. If you have a basement and can run a dehumidifier, that's best case scenario. If you're having to store within your home, try to keep it out of the sun. Try to keep it in closets, under the beds, and pantries. Again, temperature and moisture control is what you want. Don't keep it in your attic. You know, if it's the winter, that's one thing, if you're trying to just get through the season. But yeah, temperature and moisture are your biggest enemy with food storage. You want to keep it as cool and as moisture controlled as possible. So, yes?
Speaking on storage, Mylar bags, is there shelf life on the bag itself, or is it just the contents inside?
To the best of my knowledge, it's just the contents inside. So, but again, working with the different mills and whatnot, you want to be careful what size you're using. I love the bags that they have at LDS, at the food pantries, but they're very thick, and when you start working with a lot of them, it can actually start poking your hands and whatnot. They're not as pliable as some of the other ones. But those are the good things for the pokey things, as I say, with, you know, the pasta and banana chips and things that'll puncture, because you do have to keep those. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the word. You have to keep the air out. So, yes. Well, we usually try to keep ours personally about mid-level, about 55, 60%, like somebody said. You know, you don't want it too dry, but you don't want the moisture. So, yes. I'm sorry, what about what? I know a lot of people will use bay leaves. It's nothing personally I do, but I do know people that will do that. But like I said, a lot of this is kind of like everybody's got their own opinion. You know, opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one. So, yes. Yes, I love the Tatler lids. Yeah, in fact, there was a Groupon a couple years ago, and I got, I don't know, 200 Tatler lids for like $50 or something. They were running some phenomenal deal, and that's what I use for the canning, not the dry food canning that I do with the Food Saver. I use that for the regular canning with the pressure canner or the water canner, and those work really well. Those were the Tatler, I'm sorry, they're called Tatler lids. It's Tattler, and they're a plastic lid, and they've got a lifetime warranty on them. And if there's a problem, you can call into Tatler and they will replace them. So, and that's good, because the other rings and lids and whatnot, you'll get rust on and you can't reuse them and you gotta replace them. So the Tatler lids are really good. Oh, you're welcome. Yes? I know some people that do that. I know we've had soups and stews and whatnot personally that were a couple years old, past their expiration date, and they were perfectly fine. The biggest thing is use your senses. You know, look at it. If it's bulging or dented, there might be an issue, but then when you open it, if you can smell a problem, there usually is. So. That's true. That's true. So adding rice in as your grains as opposed to the breads and whatnot. Yeah. Well, then you need to learn how to bake. Yes. Thank you. Sorry, I couldn't see. It's dry food. We actually get a big bag of its Royal Canin that we get at PetSmart, and it's a 15-pound bag. We've got a 7-pound Chihuahua, and that takes them a long time to get through. So I mean, like I said, when you start working with the, oh, sorry, I just saw myself. When you start working with that food saver and those jars, it's addicting. You will shove anything and everything you can find in your house in those jars and be sealing them. That's something I've got on the website, on the easyfoodstorage.net. I've actually got my own YouTube channel now. I can't believe it. But on there, I've done a presentation showing how to do it. It's so easy. And you can throw a food desiccant in there for moisture if you want. You've already sucked out the air, so the air is gone. Don't need to really worry about an O2 absorber. You can, as an extra measure. Moisture, though, again, is something that's an enemy to food storage. So, and I think we just got a couple more minutes. Yes? I personally freeze them, so I don't worry about it. Again, anything you can do to keep the moisture out of these things, the biggest thing is yeah, get these things out and practice with them. Buying stuff and sticking it on the shelf, you may find it's just an expensive paperweight when it comes down to it, when you have to have it. So, anything else? Yes?
Due to the food storage bit, so what would you recommend as far as type of items to initially start storing?
Stuff you eat. He was asking if there was any initial recommendations for food storage of what to do. Like I said, with the couponing and stuff, start with the stuff that you use on a daily basis, stuff you know you'll like, stuff that you know you're going to eat.
Now, let me ask you, canned items that you have on shelves, I mean, Campbell's soups and stuff like that. One, in their original containers and all that kind of stuff, is that the best way, just to leave them, and really how long are they good for?
Like I said, we've got some that we've eaten that's a couple years past its expiration. It's fine. As far as the, let me see if I can find it here. One thing that we, yes. I'm sorry, he was asking the best types of foods to start with and how to store them, like the soups and whatnot. We just keep them in the containers themselves. And sorry, I'm trying to get back here to this other slide. One thing we did do, we go to Aldi. Whenever we go into Aldi, I always go in and I use the little flats that they have there for their vegetables and soups and whatnot to keep from having the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And it is great to help organize your food storage shelves. And oh, here we go. If you'll look, kind of this area here. You know, we've got our gravies, we've got our soups, we've got our spaghetti sauces and stuff, but I've used these flats here, and that helps keep them nice and organized, and you don't have to worry about stuff falling over and whatnot. So does that answer? So, anybody else? Yes? I'm sorry? Yeah, we generally, that's another nice thing that's with the flats. You kind of have dates in certain areas, and so they can easily be moved to put your newer stuff in back. So, I mean, yeah, they've got the rotation shelves and whatnot you can get, but it just kind of depends on what you do want to get or where you want to spend your money. We like to just stack them up. These are great shelves that we got from Sam's. So... all right, thank you, guys.
Jennifer Elswick, ladies and gentlemen. Good job. Let me have that.